Alright, let me just confess something. For most of my 20s, I honestly thought I was smart. And why? Because I could argue anyone into the ground. But the truth is, I wasn't smart. I was just loud, and probably more stubborn than a drunk at closing time. But eventually, I learned this really crucial lesson. See, the truly smart people, they don't try to win arguments. No, they avoid them completely. They've got something way better than a sharp tongue. They have mental models. And that right there brings us to the core idea from this incredible book, Super Thinking. This isn't about, memorizing a bunch of facts so you can win a trivial pursuit or own someone in a debate. It's a toolkit. It's about completely shifting your approach, moving away from what you know to focusing on how you think. So, okay, what are mental models exactly? Well, think of them like this. They're basically cognitive shortcuts. Do these proven frameworks borrow from all kinds of different fields? We're talking physics, economics, philosophy, that help you navigate life without, making the same dumb mistakes over and over again. And let me tell you, through a lot of trial and error, and I mean a lot, and of course insights from books like this one, I've kind of latched on to 6 mental models that just fundamentally changed how I see everything. So let's dive into them. Okay, first up, this one it's a really powerful one. It's called inversion, and it comes to us from this brilliant 19th century mathematician, a guy named Carl Jacobi. And his whole motto was super simple, but so profound. It was, invert, always invert. So what does that mean? It means instead of asking, how do I succeed, you flip it. You ask, what would make me fail? And then you just avoid that stuff. It's all about thinking backward to get to the right answer. And man, this was a huge shift for me personally. I used to be that guy chasing every single shiny opportunity, like a dog chasing cars, just a whole lot of motion, zero strategy. But then I started using inversion. I started asking, okay, what's the worst that could happen here? What could go wrong? And it was a total game changer. I started saying no to things, and that protected my time and my energy for the stuff that actually mattered. And this isn't just for personal decisions. This same logic works on a massive scale. Just look at Elon Musk. All the experts were saying there's no way electric car batteries can cost less than $600 per kilowatt hour. But Musk didn't ask, how do we make cheaper batteries? He inverted the problem. He asked, what do the raw materials actually cost? And what did he find? Cobalt, nickel, all that stuff, it was only about $80 per kilowatt hour. So what did he do? He just bought the materials himself and made the batteries. Boom, problem solved. Alright, let's move on to the next tool in our toolkit. This one's a classic, Occam's razor. The core idea, which comes from the philosopher William of Ockham, is pretty simple. When you're faced with a bunch of different explanations, the simplest one is almost always the right one. You know the saying, right? When you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. And this one became painfully real for me back when I was on dating apps. Oh my god, my list of filters, it was more complicated than a NASA mission brief. I mean seriously, with all my crazy requirements, my dating pool was basically the size of a kiddie pool in the middle of winter. I was just making things way too complicated. So I finally applied Occam's razor. I just asked myself, okay, what actually matters here? And it boiled down to 3 things. That's it. Funny, attractive, and interesting. Everything else, it was just noise. And once I simplified, I stopped wasting all that time on profiles that checked like a dozen pointless boxes but had absolutely zero spark. Okay, this next one is really interesting. It comes from the philosopher John Rawls, and it is such a powerful tool for making fair decisions. It's called the veil of ignorance. So Rawls asked us to do this little thought experiment. Imagine you get to design the perfect, fairest society from scratch. But here's the catch. You have no idea who you're going to be in that society. You don't know if you'll be rich or poor, healthy or sick, what your race or gender will be, nothing. You'd have to make the rules fair for absolutely everyone, because hey, you could end up being anyone. I actually used this a while back when I was managing a team, and the whole remote work debate was raging. My gut reaction, my manager bias, was just to kill it. Nope, everyone in the office, period. But then, I tried applying the veil. I thought, okay, what if I were a single parent? What if I had a soul-crushing 2-hour commute? Or what if I was taking care of a sick relative? And just like that, my entire perspective shifted. From wanting control to focusing on fairness and flexibility. And you want to know the result? We kept the remote work option. And our team's productivity shot up by 30%. So yeah, it turns out being fair isn't just the right thing to do, it can be incredibly profitable too. Alright, this next batch of models, these are all about one of the most crucial skills you can have today, adapting to a world that is just constantly changing. So let's talk about survival of the fittest. Now most people get this one completely wrong. It's not about being the strongest animal in the jungle. It's not about being the smartest either. It's about being the one who is most adaptable to change. The classic story of the peppered moth is the perfect example of this. So before the Industrial Revolution, the tree bark was light, so the light-colored moths blended in and thrived. Simple. But then all the soot and pollution turned the trees dark, and suddenly, guess who had the advantage? The dark moths. Their survival had nothing to do with being better moths. It was all about how well they fit their environment. It's such a powerful lesson. And trust me, I learned this lesson the hard way. I had my own light moth on a sooty tree moment. I tried to start a business selling DVDs in 2010. Yeah, Netflix was already streaming, the environment had totally changed, and I was just completely oblivious. Let me tell you, Darwin does not care about your business plan or your ego. Now, adapting to your environment also means you have to correctly interpret what's going on around you. And this brings us to a classic mental trap, confusing correlation with causation. Just because two things happen together does not mean that one caused the other. I fell for this one so hard when I was starting my content channel. I posted a video on a Sunday, it got 10,000 views. Cool. Posted another one the next Sunday, it got 12,000. So my genius conclusion? Sunday is the magic day for views. Nope, completely wrong. It was just a coincidence. The platform's algorithm was just finally starting to figure my content out. It had nothing to do with the day of the week. Okay, and our final model for today. This one is all about the two different sets of rules we all live by. Social norms and market norms. They govern completely different parts of our lives, and mixing them up, well, it can be a total disaster. This famous study about a daycare is the absolute perfect example. So this daycare, they started finding parents for being late to pick up their kids. And what do you think happened? More parents started showing up late. Why? Well, think about it. Before the fine, being on time was a social norm, right? It's about courtesy. But after the fine, it became a market norm. Lateness was just a service you could pay for. They accidentally replaced guilt with a simple price tag. Okay, so now that we've gone through all these, I have to give you the brutal truth. These models, they are not going to magically make you a genius. They won't stop you from making bad decisions all the time, and they definitely won't solve all your problems. So you might be asking, well, what's the point then? The point is this: they give you a fighting chance. That's it. And honestly, that's everything. Think about it like this. Most people are just driving through life in a thick fog with broken headlights. These mental models, they're your GPS. They're a clean windshield. They're a good set of brakes. Yeah, you might still take a wrong turn here and there, but you're way less likely to just drive straight off a cliff. And that gets to the real heart of it. Being smart isn't about knowing more facts than the next person. It's not about winning arguments. It's about having better frameworks for thinking. The smartest person in the room isn't the one who has all the answers. It's the one who's asking the better questions. So, the big question is, how can you actually start using this stuff? How do you start developing this new superpower today? Look, it's actually pretty simple. Step 1, just start with one. Don't try to learn all of them at once. Pick one, like inversion or Occam's razor. Step 2, remember, these are tools, not rules. A hammer doesn't solve every problem. And step 3, maybe the most important, the goal here isn't to think like Elon Musk tomorrow. The goal is just to think a little bit better than you did yesterday. Because at the end of the day, we live in a world that's just full of emotional decisions based on half-baked information. And in a world like that, thinking clearly, it isn't just an advantage, it really is a superpower. And I want you to remember this one thing. It's kind of an inversion itself, actually. Being wrong less often is so much more valuable than being right more often. Just focus on avoiding the really dumb mistakes. And that's really the core of it, you know? The real value isn't in just passively knowing about these models. It's in actually using them. So let me leave you with a challenge. Pick one, just one of these models, and apply it to a real problem you're facing today. Frameworks like these are they're invaluable out there in the real world. So if you've got some value out of this breakdown, make sure you subscribe. We're going to keep exploring more tools like this to help us all navigate this crazy, complex world with just a little more clarity.